Alright folks, I got the FiTorch MR35, a 1200 lumen light that is IPX8 waterproof. Let me show you this right. Yep, IPX8 waterproof. It's a 180 meter light. It has a tail switch, a side switch, and the thing about this light that makes it different is it also does red, green, blue, and ultraviolet light. And it's also USB rechargeable. So when you think, well, great, another 1200 lumen 18650 powered flashlight, go, well, hold on now. This one offers a bit more and makes those features make it something worth looking at. So why don't we get into this light and see what it can do. Alright, so what you get in the box. So you get the flashlight, alright, it's got a clip on it. It has a battery in it. Well, the one they sent me has a battery in it. This battery that is in it has a USB recharging port. So if you are unaware of it, FiTorch has their own batteries that has a USB charging port, which when I rated it, it's a 2600 milliamp hour battery. It came in at 2817. So that makes me happy anytime it's at or above what it's rated, because many manufacturers will just put any kind of thing on the label and it comes in lower. So I got to give it to FiTorch that they come in higher than what it says it's going to. It does have a spring and an awesome logo on the driver, the board inside there, right? And the tail switch has a spring on it. So both ends of the battery on a spring. That's going to help it resist drops and not cause damage inside the light or to the battery whenever you drop it. Alright. You get a holster, which has a button snap and a bit of Velcro on there so you can attach it to a bag. And then there's also the strap behind there so you can trust it to put it on your belt. You don't have to worry about running or anything like that and flop it off. Alright, they do have their name on the side of the holster. And it's a pretty okay holster. I mean, it's right there with everybody else's. So it's a good holster. It will hold the light and it'll keep it on you. You do get a lanyard that comes with it that is you have the ability to tighten it once you slide it on something like your wrist. And you get a USB charging port. It goes USB to micro USB. Alright, and they're doing something that not everybody is doing. So they got an O-ring in there and another push button, because this is an area of the light that would no longer be waterproof if the switch started to crack on you. And look at that, they include it to replace it. Not everybody's doing that, and I got to give it to them for that as well. So the light I really like. The only thing is it's difficult to carry like you can't carry this in your pocket every day because the head on it is so big. I mean, you could carry it in your pocket, you'd just be uncomfortable. You know it's there, and if you really need to, you could just put it in your back pocket. But the holster makes this tolerate. I could wear it in a holster and be just fine. So the thing that makes this head so big is all of those LEDs in there. See that? So you have your white LED that's right in the middle. You have a red, a blue, a green, and an infrared LED. Or ultraviolet light, I'm sorry, not infrared. Ultraviolet light. Also, you can unscrew the bezel, which I highly recommend you put the bezel in if you take it out. You can unscrew the bezel so you can screw on a diffuser, which is awesome. The diffuser is great for traffic directing, illuminated a room. I mean, this thing is super bright, so, I mean, we're not even on the highest setting here. Oh, yeah, we are. Okay. There we go. Yeah, we weren't on the highest setting. This thing is bright. I mean, it is bright. But it would allow you to illuminate the room instead of shining it directly in one spot. But if you ever take this off, put the bezel back in, because if you drop this thing and it bends right here on this little bit of metal, you'll never get the bezel, you'll never get that cone back on there, or this little bezel back in the head of the light. Alright, so you get a tail switch. You got nice knurling on it. Feels nice to the hand. It's easy to grip. You have a light that goes around this side switch. It turns red and green. It lets you know how the charge is doing. It'll start flashing at you when you're so low on battery. And you have a micro USB hole on the back of it. And it seals really good. You saw how hard I had to try to get that thing out of there. Alrighty, so let's go into, I guess, the user interface. So when you turn it on, it remembers whatever the last mode it was that you had it on, right? So if you had it in the lowest mode, see, I'm in the lowest, I believe. There we go. Now I'm in the second from the lowest. And you turn it off, you can momentary press it. Alright, and you can do it a bunch of times and it doesn't change anything. You turn it on, you turn it off, and the side switch doesn't do anything. So when you put it in the holster, you don't have to worry about that activating it. It only works when the flashlight is on. Alright, so you get it in the lowest mode, then the middle, then the high, then the turbo mode. And it's got a good tight beam in there, but a good bit of spill around the edges. So this will be good for a little bit of distance. Just because it's not that bright and focused in the center, you get 180 meter beam distance out of this light. So what we're going to do is look at the special features now, because that's what everybody wants, right? And so if we double click, we get a strobe. So if you double click it, you get a strobe. If you double click it again, you get SOS. If we double click it again, we get red and blue. If we double click it again, we get just blue. If we double click it again, we get a super fast strobe. So it just took us back to the beginning. So you get strobe, SOS, red and blue, blue, strobe. So let's put the if you hold it down, you get a solid of whatever color you want. So what you can do is you'll turn the light on, you hold down the side switch, and now you can see I default into, or it just goes into solid red. And if I hold it down again, I get green. Hold it down again, I get just a regular blue, like police blue. And if I hold it down again, it's hard to see during the day, but you can see how it's lighting up. It's ultraviolet, like the skating ring, right? Everybody knows that. And then when it's on, you can't tell on the camera, but when you look at it, there's a green LED barely lit up as well, because it's hard to see this one on during the day. But you get, you know, ultraviolet. You see that? It's definitely lighting up on that where you can see it. Yes. So ultraviolet, everybody knows what that is. I think it lets you see all the fuzzy dots on your black clothes. It lets you see everything in the dark. See how our fuzz is lighting up. You can go into the bathroom and see all the gross stuff with it. So this thing is awesome. Let's put our bezel, our diffuser on here, and I want to show you the strobes because it's a little better that way. So if I double click, it goes into a regular strobe. Then we got SOS, Then I get red and blue. So you see that it's flashing, it stays on red and blue. And then I get blue. And this is bright, like it hurts your eyes to look at it. And then it goes to regular strobe and then SOS. But what you can do is hold it down and you got red. And now I've got a red, which looks orange, traffic wand. Or I got a green one. Or I got a blue one. It's blue like the police color. And then you go into ultraviolet, which you can't really see. So what can you do with this light? What good is it? I mean, you're at 1200 lumens. It's rechargeable. It's got a holster. But this diffuser makes it into something altogether different. If you work events, if you're security, if you're law enforcement, if you just break down on the side of the roadway, I certainly wouldn't recommend red or blue, but you could turn on the solid red or the solid white, or you could double click and get your SOS. Or I wouldn't do red and blue flashing, but you can do SOS flashing on the side of the road. Or you could do a solid red, and this thing is so bright that you can put it on the back of your vehicle or whatever, and then you got light. Solid green, solid blue. I mean, I think this would be a good light to take hunting with the ultraviolet and the different colors. You can go out in the woods and you can pretty much do whatever you want to, and it'll help you track down blood with that ultraviolet. I know that it lets some things stick out. Like when you turn that ultraviolet out light on and you shine it in the bushes at night and the grass and the dirt, bugs and other things start glowing like they are, lit up. So we'll take that outside and see. But yeah, with that on there, that diffuser on there, and the run times, so you get an hour and a half at the brightest light. The different colors do not put out 1200 lumens. They put out less, so they run a little bit longer. I don't know how long. It's not written in here anywhere, but this is a awesome light that is just packed full of features. And FiTorch, I mean, they're just I wish I'd have found this company earlier in life. I mean, this is a really nice light. And I really want to thank them for sending it to me, to let me look at it and test it out for the last month. All right, so let's go outside and see what this thing does. All right, this is the FiTorch MR35. We're taking it out to see what it can do at night. All right, so we're going to turn it on the highest mode. Boom. It's got some distance on it. You can see it's good for getting back there, like 200 feet. It's not so much of a floodlight as more of a distant. It's rated for, I think, 180 meters. So it's max effective range for me is like 200 feet. I mean, there it is, 200 feet. What's big about this is the features that this light offers and what it could do with the colors, the red, green, the red, blue, green, and ultraviolet. So let's get into that. We're going to hold it down and go to solid red. So there's your red. Now, what you'll notice is that big black circle in the middle, and what that is there's an LED planted right beside it. Remember, if we look at the end of that, on the inside, there's that LED that's on the, they're all around each other. There's 4 LEDs on the inside of this thing, and they get a shadow off the side. So now we're changing to green, and you still got that circle in the middle. So these are good floodlights. They don't shine, like you can look, I can't really see it across the street. That's blue. It's barely lighting up some, but see, it's not lighting up the house. And your ultraviolet is not something that even lights up. I mean, you can see it's getting my, I mean, it does ultraviolet light. I mean, think black light when you think of that. And when you shine it, you can't really see it on camera until you get close to something. And now you can see things on the tree are lighting up at you. It's good for locating things like critters and stuff like that in the woods at night, see? So like you can see my shoes, boom, everything's lighting up. Alright, so let's go back to red. That is super bright, and you cannot adjust the brightness level on these. So it's really bright, but it's good about, I can look at my feet, right, and I can see how bright that is washing out the camera, and then I can look out there in the dark and I can still see because it's not blinding me out. It's not washing my night vision out. Then you got green, then regular blue, like police blue, and then your ultraviolet. See? Alright, so let's double click and get a strobe, and then our SOS, and then red and blue, then just blue, and let's get into, you click it once and it goes back to your beam. So there it is on the highest mode. We're shining across the street again, probably 50 feet. It's 200 feet back there in the back. We'll go down to the lowest mode. Alright, you could still, I'm sorry, it's not the lowest mode. There's a lowest mode. You can still barely see it across the street. And the next mode up, you really can see. The next mode, and then the highest mode. Alright folks, there it is, the FiTorch MR35. The MR35. It's the 1200 lumen waterproof rechargeable red, green, blue, white, and ultraviolet flashlight. It has all the LEDs in the end here. It's rechargeable. It's got a clip. Man, I really like this light. It's a big enough head that you need to really carry it in a holster. You could put it in your back pocket, but I wouldn't secure it that way on a long trip or anything like that. Carry it all day long like that. I would wear the holster if I were looking to carry this light. But here it is. I really appreciate you guys watching my videos and supporting me. Keep watching, keep subscribing. I'm going to put a link to my Facebook group in the description of the video. You can click that and join my group, and I put pictures and other things, and I do giveaways in both my YouTube and on my Facebook page. So, but I just really want to thank FiTorch for sending this light to me. Hopefully there's more to come in the future, and I can help expose their product to you guys, and maybe they'll keep sending things to me. Hey, you guys let me know if you like my videos or if you want me to do anything different or add anything. Just give me a comment or hit me on Facebook. Alrighty, I really appreciate all you guys. Thank you, FiTorch, for sending this to me. Goodbye.